Welcome to the 2040 Vision, hosted by Helena and Jason, where fresh perspective meets hard-earned wisdom, because growth is clearer when you see it from both sides.
Welcome back. Thank you all for coming this far.
Imagine 4 episodes in, we're here.
We're starting it. It's full blown.
It's got to be a thing at this point, right? We said we were doing it, and we're doing it. We're 4. We've come together multiple times. We don't push back anything.
Nope. Even if we weren't feeling it, we're like, nope. Rip the band-aid off. Got to do it. It has to get done. It's getting done. But no, for real. Thank you all for coming this far and listening to little baby of ours.
It's a little adventure. It's fun.
It is. It's very.
Episode 4. What are we going to be talking about?
We're going to be talking about the power of mindset and how we frame our perspective.
I think I'm going to like this episode. I think this is a this for me is probably one of the biggest ongoing journeys most will have. I know for me I have. It's so difficult.
Definitely.
So difficult.
I honestly, when we were like looking into starting this topic, I'm actually excited because this is something I'm really deep in right now. Like waking up and trying to stay positive and trying to talk myself as if I'm already the person I want to be, act and even dress like the person I already want to be. And some days it just gets hard, and I feel like today of all days it's very hard for me to want to talk about or even act like I'm the person I want to get to. So I'm really excited for this episode.
They call that the fake it till you make it mindset, right?
No, that's exactly what it is. I'm really faking it today.
A lot of people misunderstand that fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it doesn't mean like go build a bridge because one day you want to be an engineer. That's not what that means. But it's more like put yourself into a mind frame of success. Change the rhetoric a little bit and exude a growth type mindset versus the kind of vocabulary or whatever that's going to hold you back, or tends to be a vocabulary that will put your brain into a state where it just thinks, okay, we're in this state and we're stuck here. I'm throwing out the anchor and I'm putting it as an absolute. I suck at this is one of them, or whatever. Like that's a very like anchor based, fixed based kind of mindset, and it's like fake it till you make it. It might not be the best day in the world, but let everybody know you're having a great day. Things like that, where the little changes in your mindset are going to go a long way, especially when it comes to growth. So growth mindsets are to me one of the hardest things to catch on, to continuously do. We talked about this a little bit in the intro, where some things are going to be a little less tangible and harder to put your hand on. We had an episode about a routine. It's kind of the same thing in my head, where we went through a couple of like the I'll give a quick example of, we talk about the alarm clock in the morning because it's like the most common routine thing, and we spoke about hitting the snooze button. And one of the things you could do to hit the snooze button, this is kind of the same thing, but in a more speech like mindset type.
It is, because there's, like the alarm thing, like you were saying. It's easy to hit the snooze on a positive thought of yourself if things aren't going necessarily the way you thought they would go, or the way you hope they would go, right? So let's say you're having a bad day, or like you were hoping to get a job and it doesn't end up working out, or something like that, right? And then you kind of just hit the snooze button on I got this, like let's keep it rolling, let's keep it moving, to something more like, am I even good at what I do? I suck. Like I'm never gonna get where I want to be, and then it's a domino effect into like a whole pit of negativity.
Do you have? I know you have an example because I don't even know if you know if you're thinking of the same one I'm thinking of. But do you have a personal life example of when that happened to you, where you didn't think you might be good enough, but you kept going? You changed your mindset. I'll coax you along a little bit. When you were in school.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Where I was in school, and you know, not the best tester. I'll be really honest. I'm not the best tester.
Exam taker. Doesn't help with who you brought to your exam. We could bring this up at least a few times.
But I'm very good, like practically. If there's no stress around what I want to do or what I need to, I will get it done properly. Like now I'm in my field. We're good. Like we've gotten to that point. So I had actually taken Jason with me to one of my exams, and I'm in
healthcare.
It's
not clear, and we won't get my too close, but like there's a bit of a difference in size of people.
So let me give a little bit more context. I work in healthcare. I'm actually a X-ray technologist, and so for one of my practicals, I had to bring a live patient to kind of X-ray for my exam, right? And like position them like the way I would take an X-ray in any scenario. So I took Jason thinking everything's gonna be fine. I had to do a mandible. Little did I know that I knew this, like body habitus to changes the way you would do certain exams, except I never practiced it the way I had to do it on the test, and I completely like flunked it. Whatever, it's fine. I made it. We made it.
Okay, I'm built a little bit more square than most. For those watching on the YouTube, basically I was in this machine and it was really cool. I was in this machine and she had to like position. You're trying to X-ray like I think it was my jawline or something. Anyway, but she had to position me in the machine. The problem is that between my shoulder and my head, that space is like 6 times more than most, and I was in the most awkward position for the longest time.
It's
I was
true.
just like, I don't think this is working.
That's exactly what happened. Your shoulders were in the way.
Yeah.
So now I'm looking at you. I'm like, oh God, I have to turn him the opposite way I've been practicing this whole time.
We probably should have done an at-home practice. I
didn't even think of it.
There was probably a point in there where you were like, I don't even know if this field is for me.
There was a point where I'm like, was that a rookie mistake? Like, because I made that mistake, I'm like, am I not good enough for this? Right? Then again, yes. But now looking into it, I don't think anybody who was in my position, because even my teachers and everybody who who understood what the exam consisted of, told me like, I don't know if I was in your position, I don't know what I would do either. But it's just really funny because I remember that time I kind of like grew in that exact like in those few seconds that I was there, because I remember looking at what I was doing and I'm like, yeah, I'm failing.
Yeah, this is not
like,
it.
I accepted my fate, and I'm like, I'm just gonna, at least they do repeats, so like you have a chance to do one single repeat after that, and if you fail that again, you have to go back into rotation. I passed the second round, so there's that.
Yeah,
and
you went into the next round. The repeat, I remember us having a conversation. You were mindset wise, you were way more confident, even though you had failed the first time. You kind of went into that going, I know this can't get any worse than that time, and you went into it way more confident than you did before.
A lot more stress too, because I'm like, oh God, this is my last chance type thing. But I was a lot more confident, and I'm happy. I'm happy I stuck through it, because in the broader things, I'm so happy I stuck through it because I love my job. It has its crazy moments, of course, but I love my job. And more than I love my job, I love every single person I met through getting here. I'm actually like super, super close friends with these girls that were in my class. We never spoke in class. until we started working together. And that for me just makes
This
it
is like the trio that you go like snowboarding with and stuff. Really,
yeah,
that's
the
hilarious.
trio, we go snowboarding, and eventually maybe also starting a little side thing together.
There you go. I like
I'm
that.
really excited.
That's really cool. So that's a great example of like having that negative impact. That negative, you could have easily just said, "I'm not good enough for this," and then have that anchor placed on you and continued with the "I'm not good enough," and then you would have done your second round trial going into it with "I'm not good enough," and you likely would have failed, and then had to go back into whatever rotation is or whatever. But and then and either end or restart the entire class and or not be able to get your certification as an X-ray.
100%.
So that's kind of what we're talking about when it comes to, you know, fix versus growth. So that's like a fixed mindset is the "I'm not good," and then the growth mindset that you had was, I've now seen the worst. I can learn from this. I go into my next one. I'm good enough for this. I made it out of the last one alive. It's the worst possible scenario anybody could have been put in as a first-time person doing their exam. I'm good enough for this. I'm gonna succeed. And you went in and you crushed it.
Yeah.
Super motivating to hear that kind of that kind of thing, and then doing it and succeeding is even the best reward, that little cherry on top, that candy where that will reinforce that habit, that changing that mindset.
But in a way also, like, thank God I failed that test, because without failing that test, you know, now in a real life scenario, you come in for a mandible, you know, I now know how to go about it. I know, okay, shoulders will be in the way. Like, thank God I failed that test, because now I can look at it in another light, almost.
Of course.
Like, everything just needs, you know, to be, if something's an object, right, you can look at it in different ways. And people don't realize that real life things can be looked at in many, many different ways.
Every failure is an opportunity to learn and grow.
Exactly.
If you look at a failure as a complete failure and don't take anything from it, you have wasted a failing opportunity.
A lesson.
A lesson. You've wasted your chance to better yourself for the next time. If you think you're going to go into anything and knock it out of the park the first time, some people do. Hole-in-ones exist. You're going to knock it out of the park the first time. I don't know why I went so heavy on sports analogies there, but
because you were looking for your golf clubs.
I was looking for my golf clubs. They're gone. In case you watched video one, I went golfing and I turned around and I said, "Where are my golf clubs?" I got worried, but if you just go, everybody's going to go in and be able to 100% on their first try every once in a while. Like they say, even a broken clock's right twice a day. But you're going to be wrong more often than you're going to be right. The key is to take that learning and grow with it. And that's just the way that is. For me, I mean, we were talking about this just a little bit before recording the episode. I've had many instances where, you know, fixed mindset, growth mindset. I learned, I for the life of me can't remember who taught me this, if it was one of my earlier mentors in retail sales or whatnot. But I learned it's okay to do it in like a personal, like if you and I were speaking off camera, something like that. But in a professional atmosphere or in everyday rhetoric, if somebody asks me how I'm doing that day, my answer 99.9% of the time is always going to be great, regardless of my current life situation. Because I feel like, for one, that just starts off the conversation in the right foot. It brings a more positive vibe to what's next, because if somebody's asking you about your day, they're not just going, "Hey, how are you?" and then turn around and leave. You're going to have a conversation, but also puts my own mind at ease with the next steps and making sure that, oh no, you are good, you're good, everything's going to be all right, and not necessarily just dwell on that negative.
Actually, I started doing this with something. One thing I say, like, on a daily, I've started this is brand new and try to continue, is everything's working out as it always does. That's my favorite line. Everything okay? Yeah, everything's always working out. Like it always does. It always works out. My new favorite phrase.
Might not work out the way you think it would have,
but it's gonna work
but
out.
it will work out.
Yeah. Nothing ever works out the way you think it's gonna.
No chance. No chance. And that's like and that goes back to the old saying that if you like what I was saying is if you think you're just going to go into something and knock it out of the park 100 times out of 100, it's just wrong. It's just, you always have to have your A plan, your B plan, learn from your mistakes, grow from the things that are going to go wrong. Don't waste those opportunities. Those are magical, man. Every error, every failure, everything that can possibly go wrong is your next step to the next greatest thing in your life. And that's just the kind of mindset you have to have going forward. If really you want to take kind of growth seriously and bring yourself to your next best version of yourself, and don't forget, your next best version of yourself is yesterday's worst version of yourself. So you're always constantly growing. You don't want to dwell on the negative. You want to keep going. Every setback is an opportunity to learn with that. So that's important. We got on the board here to talk about strategies, thought patterns. I think it's very based on language.
Yeah, so how you speak to yourself, really. You know, we have an inner voice that kind of sabotages us more often than not. I don't know why humans have this like voice. It's like the weirdest thing ever. I don't know if everybody has it. I know I have it. Where it's like, okay, like get out of my head now. Like it's not even me. It's like, what do you know? So talk nicely to yourself. Speak to yourself as if like the way you would talk to your best friend, like wanting the best for them. You know what I mean? Another thing also for me, I saw actually a video of this one girl, she got advice from her father. Very, very, successful family, like self-made, like they're good, you know? Her and her sisters, they, started a company together and it's going super well. Her dad is her mentor and he told her, he's like, I hate when people say, I hope this and this and this happens. I hope I get this job. I hope and I dream, wish. What does that mean? What do you mean you hope, you wish, you dream? What are you going to do about it? What are the steps you're going to take? What are you going to do about it to make sure that that's your outcome? You have to do every single thing possible to get there. And anything you choose to do, you have to attack it. So, example, you know, we always use this example, but like alarm in the morning, instead of snoozing it, just rip the sheets out and get up before you could even think of doing anything. Attack your first task is getting up. Like attack everything you have to do. So that it's really like speak nicely to yourself and just make sure you're doing everything possible to get that outcome. And if you don't get it right away, you're gonna see that eventually you're going to get it.
Yeah, I agree with that. The other example we have here is I have to versus I get to. So, and this is more like if you take it into a work thing, it's like, oh man, I have to send these emails this morning. I have to go have this meeting with my boss. I really don't want to. It's not something I enjoy. And I have to give this presentation. Oh my God, I get to go in today. I get to send these emails that I've been waiting to send out for these clients that are waiting for me and for my information. Oh my God, I get to go in and have a nice one-on-one 30 minutes with my boss. I get to discuss some of my progress. I get to discuss some of my challenges, and they're going to help me, move forward and grow my career. oh my God, I get to sit in front of everybody today and give a 30-minute presentation on this particular subject that I'm really good at, that's going to help them improve their life, so that then next week, Jane's going to be able to sit there and I get to listen to her presentation. Oh, I have to listen to her presentation. Like that's the huge, and it's so subtle, and it's so misunderstood, and it's so important to just change that rhetoric, because it won't only affect you as a person, it will affect everyone joining you in your day.
And it kind of reminds me of that you don't know what you have until it's gone type vibe, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, how lucky I am that I get to have a bad day. How lucky I am that I get to go to work. You know, there's people out there that wish they can go to work, or like they can't, or like, for example, my grandmother, she had a stroke at a very young age, at 52. You know, people aren't even retired by that age, and she was a workaholic. She was like the breadwinner of the house, really. And, you know, after her stroke, she couldn't really work anymore. She had to relearn how to walk, eat, talk, all of it. So now when we're all going to work, she kind of like looks at us, and she hasn't worked since 52. And now she's almost 70. And, you know, she looks at us and you can see that, oh, I wish I was able to do that a bit longer. You can see it. So, you know, don't take advantage of where you are right now. Even if you don't want to do what you're doing, it really is that I'm so lucky I get to get rained on today, you know, or like I'm so lucky I get to drink a cold coffee that was once hot because something, you know, got in the way of it.
Out was born the iced coffee craze. Tim Hortons. You want to work at Tim Hortons? You get a job there. Ice cap. Why? Because someone had the fortune or misfortune, however you want to look at it, but they had the fortune to say, "Hey, my iced coffee's cold. Or my hot coffee is cold. My cappuccino's now cold. Let me sip on this. Oh my God, this is great. I get to drink this cold. Let's put some ice on it. Add 600 pounds of sugar, and away we go."
Change the perspective. Hot coffee turns cold. Make it colder. Just make it colder, and now it's even more tasty.
There you go. You gotta add like a bunch of sugar.
Maybe some caramel.
And that's a good technique. Like, when we talk about techniques of how to do this kind of thing, that's a good technique. Is comparison. Like, put yourself a comparison and perspective into your situation and the situation that there are X amount of people behind you wishing they could be in the same scenario as you, and then you're there complaining about the scenario that you're in. And it's okay to complain about the scenario that you're in a mind frame of like, this isn't my ideal, so I want to improve, get better, get out of this. That's okay, but don't do it in that negative mind frame. Oh, I have to. You're going to sit there forever. Great. I get to, and by doing this, I'll get to this point. I'll get this. My boss will see that I'm doing this, and then maybe that will lead me to become that. And then I can no longer complain about being this. And those wanting to become this now have an opportunity to move into my spot, and I can help them and coach them through that. So, and that's the point I'm making, where it's not just affecting you, it's going to affect everybody around you, your surroundings. Everybody is going to be affected by that. The other one for me is I try, especially at work, I try and do a pause. If it's just for a moment, 1 second, 2 seconds, whatever it is, when somebody is speaking to me and I'm about to speak back, I try and purposely pause and actually think, run it through my head real quick of how I'm going to give this answer, what is it that I want to convey, and then blurt out what it is I want to say, instead of reactionary, which one of my things I'm working on now, and I'm working on it with, I have my boss and my boss's boss, we call that a level up, when I do my meeting with him, there's some things that I do guilty that I'm not good at in this mind frame too, and some other things. But when I'm in meetings, especially, I like to take the space. I like to, and sometimes I'm blurting out too quickly, and my message and that comes off a little bit more negative than it would growth set. So I have to work on that, and I've been working on that. And it's pausing 1, 2, 3 seconds, making sure the person's done speaking, because then often you could be speaking over them. But 2, make sure that message is exactly how you want to come across to the person, and it conveys the type of growth mindset, positivity, and all that you want to.
It makes everything more purposeful when you give it space. And space, like you said, space to let somebody speak.
Yep. And then the other thing I do, and that I practice, and we practice as a we try and practice it a little bit as a family on a personal level. We definitely do it at work. And then we talk about is basically I try and show a lot more gratitude for what's being said to me, and really sit back and think and kind of like get into my mind and be like, am I actually conveying what I need to convey? Am I really doing the things I need to be doing in order to get to where I want to get? Self-awareness. But a lot of it is showing gratitude to those around me, my mentors, those who are trying to give me a boost and let me learn and will coach me throughout the way, and allow me to get to where I want to go. I in return have learned to be a little bit more grateful and show that gratitude, and then reciprocate and be like, hey, if there's anything you want to work on that my strengths are at, we can do that. We can do that together as well. So a lot of that being grateful mindset, I was not a grateful person in my 20s. I don't think I was a very grateful person. I think like being grateful is a little bit is difficult. It's difficult for me at least, but I find even if you think you're grateful, I find that most people who kind of are around you will say, well, they're not really grateful. Like they're there. Yeah. They're taking the coaching and that stuff. So you're not actually taking steps in order to like exude that and make sure people know that you have gratitude towards what they're doing for you, and that you are self-reflecting and taking it all in, and then trying to better yourself there. So gratefulness to those around you that are giving you the yeah, sometimes it feels like it's poking a little bit, especially in a work setting or a parental setting. You know, mom and dad are trying to do the best for you and get you to where you need to be, and often we challenge that with a more negative rhetoric of leave me alone, I can do this myself, I'm old enough, I want to do this my way, what do you know, you're a boomer or a millennial, your mother's a millennial, so am I, that's weird. or a millennial. No, she's not a millennial.
No, my mom, no.
No, she's not a millennial. So I'm not in the same, at least I'm not in the same gen as your mother. But close enough.
I don't even know all the
yeah, I mean, it's the one before. It's the one before.
Whatever.
It's the one before, yeah. And then it's so that there's that, we really mess up on that form there, where it's like we kind of show that negative side, that anchor. Oh, I want to do it myself. That's a big one. Let me do it myself. My son does it right now. He's 2.5. So when I was doing it at 20, I probably should have known better or whatever. But like, oh, I want to do it myself. Oh, I'm going to do this myself. Versus, thank you for showing me. I appreciate that. How can I now be introspective and self-aware and be like, okay, why do they think I don't know? What am I doing wrong? Ask, hey, was this better? Did I do this better? Why did you give me that feedback? What is it that I'm doing that needs to, and just be grateful, and that in turn will churn something way more positive and more growth minded versus that anchor. And I'm sure like you're coming out of, I'm not going to call you out for being the I want to do it myself mindset. You're in your 20s. You're where I was, we won't talk about it, many years ago. You're kind of like you're getting into that stage of life where you're figuring it out for yourself.
So it's a bit weird because I'm in a little bit of a limbo between both sides where I do want to do it all myself. I want to be able to afford a house on my own, you know, have children and be able to do it all by myself. But like now in today's world, like you can't really. But I feel like that comes from also a little bit from my family, like how they think a little bit, and also being raised most of my life by you know, single parent kind of shaped my mindset into that kind of. But I'm aware that these things are happening. I'm aware that this is why I think the way I do, and I'm able to kind of go about it and be like, no, it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. I could dream big. I could, you know, do 100% what I need to do, but also allow somebody else to kind of like come in and be like, it's okay, like I can help, I can do this, like whatever. Which I'm learning more and more to be able, like, to be okay with that type of a scenario. But yeah, I'm learning to be okay with not being able to do everything on my own, but I still do want to strive and be like, I could do most things on my own, because that in itself for me is like power move. Like I could do it. Like it's powerful, you know.
And that will slowly change and rewire everything the way you do everything. Just having that kind of self talk and stuff like that. Do you do anything like tool wise? Do you do anything? I think you do anything to help your like your mindset, your mind frame, and resetting your mind.
Yeah, like I think about the goals I want to reach. I'm very realistic in my thinking though. Um you know, like, do I want to branch out? 100%. This is why we're doing what we're doing now. This is why I'm thinking of even starting something else, like a little bit here, a little bit of there, or, you know, I like this year I really want to branch out, try different things. And my mindset's a little bit, for the first time in a few years, I feel like I'm 19 again, thinking like, oh, can I actually do this? And I haven't felt that since like 21, and now I'm 26. I'm feeling it again. So I'm like, okay, well, I think it's because I'm coming out of my comfort zone. And I know it's something I need to do to be able to grow and like and get to where I want to go. I consider myself as a very creative person. I love the social media world. Like this is something like I see myself doing like that. So there's a lot of times where I'm like, can I compete with what's already out there? Like, can I actually do this? Am I even good enough for this? And I just think like, okay, that's just self-sabotaging. Don't even go there. Like just do it, put it out there, see what happens. I actually heard someone talking about social media in a way where it's like, social media is not for your friends. It's not even for your family. It's for just yourself. You post your own energy and your own thing, and then whoever's looking for that specific energy or that specific thing will come and look for you. And that's actually what's been helping me, like, okay, no, like I just have to stop sabotaging myself, and like I have to like just remember these things, that there is going to be someone to look for my energy. There is going to be someone to want to hear like some uplifting words, or like to hear that, oh, everybody has a bad day. Like, oh, she's going through it. Like, oh, like she's not feeling very confident today. Like very realistic. Like, so tools. I wish I had better tools. That's the truth.
I mean, I know I don't know if it was part of your 75 hard thing or whatever, but there was meditation in there somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. So I do like meditation in the sense of like, I put meditation / praying, because for me, they go a little bit hand in hand for me, you know? So I feel like when I meditate, and pray, I list the things that I'm grateful for. I give thanks to all the things that I have. A roof over my head, food to eat, air to breathe, healthy lungs to breathe it, legs that work, that can take me to the gym, that can drive me to work, that can, a healthy body to be able to help others who are less healthy, because I work at the hospital and things. Just the littler things, the love that surrounds me. I really like, and when I say those things, I really take in how grateful I am for all those little things that people forget about on a daily basis, because it's not like grand and like in your face. And then it almost makes me forget about the bad day that I had, and I'm like, yeah, no, today was a good day. I had everything I had yesterday and everything that I'm gonna have tomorrow, and that's what makes it a good day. Like all those little things.
And that ties perfectly into the gratitude. Gratitude doesn't always have to be expressed to physical people around us. Gratitude can be self-expressed. Gratitude could be spiritually expressed, if that's your cup of tea. That's really cool. So meditation, yoga, things, breathing exercises, those are all things that will help with the mindset. I'll throw in journaling. I'll throw in being a little bit more sitting down at the end of the day. If it's something that you struggle with, especially overcoming kind of challenges in a growth and positive as in direction, not necessarily positive as in happy, positive as in a positive direction, versus negative as in a negative direction. So we speak growth wise. It's like sit down at the end of the day and have a challenge journal where you will write down a challenge you faced during that day, and then how you overcame it. And I find the act of writing, I don't do a lot of writing. I'm big on technology. You could probably find an app for this, I'm sure, but I think the physical act of writing kind of like helps to express it out of your body.
You've made it a physical thought.
Yeah.
Your thought has become now physical.
It lives in the world now.
Yeah, and it's easier to do something about it once it's physically there.
Yeah. It's definitely one of the things I would suggest doing. I used to do a challenge journal at an old job I used to have when we were doing kind of like you want to get a promotion and all that stuff. They would challenge me to do challenge journals, and so writing down a work related, not necessarily a personal growth, but a work related challenge that I had during the day and how I overcame that. In sales, if it was a challenging client, they said no, da 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 da. And at the end of the day, we actually amalgamated that entire journal that 3 or 4 people wrote and created a how-to guide to overcome daily challenges at that job. So those, like, it physically puts it out into the world, and write it down as if somebody else was about to read this, and try and learn from even though somebody might not read it. And if you want to go a little bit more into the personal challenges, you can too. It doesn't have to be a career-wise challenge. It could be, I got rejected after asking someone else on a date. That was a challenge I had to overcome, and how did I overcome it and move forward from it? And that could just be simply that.
Like a paint by numbers, how to get over some challenges.
Yeah.
That's actually a good way to look at it, and to go about something, is write it out like as if you're handing an instruction pamphlet on how to build furniture, to someone who's never gone through it, or who has gone through it and just needs some help getting past it. Yeah. And then it makes it easier for yourself to get past it.
Yeah. And write it that way, regardless of whether somebody's actually ever going to read it or not, because you'll write it in a more meaningful way versus just, let me get this task done, And then obviously there's books out there. So I have one that I want to suggest to people. It's a book called Get Out of Your Own Way. And I had to look up who the author was, because it was Mark something. It's Mark Goulston. So it's a get out of your own way. That's a great book to help you with mind frame and mindset type changes. Yeah, very cool. So I think that's going to be the end of episode number 4. This is a heavy one. This one we're going to challenge you guys to do a little bit of soul searching. And as per always, at the end of every show, we encourage you, the listener, to reach out, comment, and let us know some experiences that you guys are going through, dealing with, how you come about them. Give us your weekly challenge and how you overcame it. Start writing that down below, and maybe we can collect thousands and thousands of posts of people saying, here's the challenge I had, here's how I overcame it, and we can start our own like community journal type thing.
Send us some of the positive words that you tell yourself in times of negative thought loops. That would be
your positive affirmation words, how you get over that. I like that. And then your challenges for the week and how you got over that. That would be really cool to read. Until then, we will catch you on the next episode where we're talking about the art of organizing, staying organized, organizing your life, organizing maybe physical, maybe mental. Who knows? But we'll get into it.
Yep.
In the next episode of the 2040 Vision.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.